Welcome to What's Going On. I have a special guest with me today, Natasha Waterman. Natasha, I want to welcome you to our show.
Thank you.
And I've heard a lot about you.
Nice.
Yes. All good. All good. A good friend of mine's been hyping you up. Telling me that you gotta listen to Natasha's CD. You gotta hear about Natasha. Call in, just pay attention, just clue in. Nice. So I decided to take his advice. And I thought, how better than to have you on the show.
Excellent.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
It's great to be here.
Good. So I understand you've been singing and been doing that for a while. Can you let us know how it all got started?
Sure. Well, it started many years ago. First with some songwriting. Actually, it started with poetry originally at about 11.
Really?
And then it evolved. And it's been a natural evolution ever since, from poetry to rapping to songwriting. And
wow, so you touched on a few genres there.
I've probably touched on every genre so far.
Really?
Rock, country, R&B.
Country as well?
Yes, definitely. On my album, definitely. Yeah, there's one or two tracks that kind of have a resonance of that new country feel, but yeah.
Really? So how do you, that's quite a collection there.
Yes.
And what inspires you?
Everything. Everything around me. Definitely things that have inspired me first and foremost.
So like past experiences? Past
experiences. I sit in a room with other writers, or maybe I might be by myself. I pick up my guitar, and it is almost like my subconscious just comes out. Yes.
Because I am not musically talented.
Okay. Maybe you don't think so. Maybe a little
I don't know. I'm led to believe that the talent is somewhere between limited and non-existent.
Right.
And I marvel at songwriting. I marvel when I hear a song to think, someone sat down and wrote it and put the lyrics together, put the music together. And I've always wondered, how does that process begin?
Truthfully, for me, it's lyrically driven first. Meaning the melody and the lyrics seem to come at once, and it is usually inspired by chords that either are playing through, me playing the guitar, or on my piano, or someone else playing music for me, and there's already somewhat of an idea, and I kind of just go with the feel and how that song itself or that melody itself is affecting me.
Oh, okay.
And a lot of times, I mean, that's the most natural way for me. The other way would be where I'm sitting and I'm in a songwriting camp, and I've done many of those for Canadian Idols, and I've had some placements, which was really great with Canadian Idol, Kaylin Porter and Melissa O'Neill. And so those situations, it was for an individual. We were looking at, the song for the winner. We were looking at songs for their album. And at that point now, I'm taking the perspective more of, okay, how old is this person? What is it like? I have to imagine what it's like for them to be in the position that they are. They're on stage or so forth. And now I'm thinking, okay, I want this for that person, and I'm trying to custom make this song for that person so that they can identify with it.
Right. So
not only them, but the listener as well. So
you're collecting the two then?
Definitely.
So that's interesting.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I always found it really fascinating.
Yeah.
Because some of us are gifted with words.
Right.
Most of us are not. And that's just a reality. But to put together a song is just something that I've thought is like, it's the height of creativity, in my opinion.
Right.
And there are all kinds of songs out there. I'm a Parliament Funkadelic fan.
Okay.
And I love me some George Clinton.
Yes, there's always a time and place for all music.
And he's a creative dude, in my opinion. Totally. One of the most creative guys in the history of music.
Totally.
And
an icon.
Exactly. I mean, if you look at his album covers, right away he's creative.
Totally.
Right? And I always thought, how does this process come about? And it's just it's pretty fascinating. It's pretty fascinating. So your genre right now is it touches on easy listening.
It's funny that you say that. I guess I say easy listening.
Okay.
My daughter the other day was at a basketball game. She was working there, and she was there with a girl that had known me since I was in high school and knows my album and so forth. And I guess the other individual, her name was Tamara, was saying, oh, you have to hear her mom. You have to hear her mom sing. And the people said, but what kind of music does she sing? And Reve, my daughter, said, the two of them looked at each other like, well, it's kind of like, they couldn't describe it.
Right.
And I guess that they couldn't describe it because naturally I'm soulful. The music has a touch, like I said, of country in some tracks. It has a little bit of rock in other tracks, or alternative. And then it has some real just R&B. So the album itself is very easy listening. It kind of brings you through a journey, and it's about life situations. So this album, I would say, is easy listening, but my new album is still being, birthed.
Oh, okay. So it's the process right now.
It's in process, yes.
Okay. So we're going to touch on about that. We're going to touch on that.
Yeah.
We're going to touch on your present album as well.
Totally.
But before we touch on that, as an artist, does that limit you? Because I would imagine in the industry they think, okay, well, this person is R&B, this person is rap, this person is adult contemporary, whatever, and they like to
pigeonhole.
Exactly, and then crank up the marketing machine to make it work.
Totally.
And so, how do you feel about that? Do you when you talk to record execs and you say, okay, Natasha wants to be promoted in this light? Is there a lot of tension or friction? Because a lot of times those guys, they're not singers, right? The executives are not singers.
Well,
they're marketing guys.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Totally. And I'm just touching on the industry itself has changed so much. So record execs are not someone I would be dealing with, period, because I am an independent artist.
Oh, okay.
And due to the fact, because of what you're saying, for one, record labels right now are like, they're monopolized, just like Rogers,
right,
and just like everything else that we know that is big in in the States, your banks and so forth. So for me, independent artists have with the online market now, it's expanded huge.
So it's a godsend for you guys.
It's definitely much larger than it ever was. More opportunity for independent artists than it ever was. So yes, it does pigeonhole me in some ways because of the fact that now as an artist, I'm an independent artist, and I have to think for myself. I have to think of marketing. I have to think of consistency with my branding. I have to think about all the business aspects of things at the same time, still trying to be
an
artist. And when you start really looking at this industry, and if you're a smart artist, you have to be business savvy. There's no way around it. You either have a team of business savvy people with you, or you have to have somewhat, of the brain for that, and understand that this is the same business as any other business.
Right.
So branding is key, and for that album, it was easy listening, adult contemporary, demographics of 25 and older, and I needed to stay consistent with that whole album. So for that whole time, I felt like I couldn't grow my hair, I felt like I couldn't change my image, I felt like there was all these restrictions.
So you were locked in.
Because I was locked into that album, and that's what it was. And then I was like, okay, finally this album is done, and now I can move on to something else, and maybe now I can put on a different helmet for the next album. But branding, I've come to understand for myself, is I'm not trying to be anybody for anybody. I'm just trying to be me. And I'm not going to put those restrictions on myself anymore in any of these.
So you're just going to do your thing.
It's just about me being me. I'm a single mom with 2 kids. I'm just trying to do music and talk about life issues. And who I am, what you see is what you get. Right.
How does that translate to making a living singing, though? Because, the marketer in me says, well, we got to sell this thing, right? And you got to feed those kids.
Totally.
So there must be some sort of tug of war on some level.
It's called cross-marketing.
Cross-marketing. All right.
It's called cross-marketing. And truthfully, I'm a hairstylist during the day. I'm a vocal teacher in the evening, teaching for the city of Toronto, and that's my way of giving back along with what I do. So I feel like I'm giving back to the community. I'm a mentor for a young girl named Deanna, and she's with the REMIC project. So again, I'm trying to help and give back to the community. The hairdressing allows me to be cross-marketable in the beauty the beauty world.
Oh, okay.
So I also do makeup. So my expertise in hair and makeup is something that I can use to help me make money.
So it lends its hand to music.
They all work together hand in hand.
Interesting.
And it's me. It's who I am. It's what I've been doing for 15 years. And yeah, so if you want to be successful, again, it comes back down to smart business.
Right. You got to think it out.
You got to think it out. Or you got to use the tools that are offered to you wisely.
I hear you. I hear you. We're going to take a quick break.
All right.
We'll be right back right here on REMIC TV.